No official photos, no public confirmation, just two silhouettes, one city, and a New Year's night that felt too intentional to ignore. Wang, Bai Lu, Hong Kong, in a moment that quietly set the fandom on fire. The final hours of the year always carry a certain kind of magic. Time slows down, emotions sit closer to the surface, and choices suddenly feel heavier than usual. As the world counted down to welcome 2026, an unexpected story began to unfold, softly, almost invisibly. No press releases, no red carpets, just whispers moving across social media timelines, from one fan account to another. It started with Sightings, an airport, two departures, nearly the same time. Masks pulled low, caps shadowing familiar features. Simple outfits that spoke less of celebrity and more of someone wanting to disappear into the crowd. Yet something felt different. Because when two of China's most talked about stars are seen traveling around New Year's Eve, without schedules, without announcements, fans notice. They always do. Hong Kong soon became the center of attention. A city known not just for its skyline, but for its symbolism. A place people choose when they want to celebrate quietly, meaningfully, away from expectations. And that's where Wang and Bai Lu were believed to be as one year ended and another began. The question wasn't shouted. It was whispered. Why here? Why now? And why together? As the hours passed, small details began to surface. Never loud enough to declare anything, yet clear enough to stir emotions. A night view of Victoria Harbor. A familiar angle. A similar timestamp. Different accounts. Different captions. But the same atmosphere. Fans didn't need a shared selfie to connect the dots. They noticed the reflections, the lighting, the timing. It wasn't about proof, it was about feeling. Then came the most talked about moment. A short clip of fireworks exploding over Hong Kong's skyline. Bright, brief, beautiful. The caption was simple, almost poetic. Two stars enjoying the same night. No names were mentioned. None were needed. Comment sections erupted, not with accusations, but with hope. Because New Year's Eve is not just another night. It's a moment people reserve for those who matter most. It's where endings meet beginnings, where choices feel symbolic, even if unspoken. And suddenly, the idea that Wang and Bai Lu might have shared that moment, watching the same sky, breathing the same midnight air, felt deeply emotional. Not because it confirmed anything, but because it felt human. What happened next was something surprisingly rare in modern fandom culture. There was no outrage, no pressure, no loud demand for explanations. Instead, there was a pause, a collective breath held by millions of fans across different countries, time zones, and languages. Because when neither Wang nor Bai Lu released any official statement, the silence itself began to speak. And strangely, it felt respectful. For years, fans have watched both of them navigate fame with caution. Wang, constantly under the weight of expectations, moving from one major project to another without rest. Bai Lu, admired not only for her talent, but for her emotional intelligence, always careful about how much of herself she reveals to the public. A quiet New Year's escape suddenly felt less like a rumor and more like a human decision. Fans began to interpret the silence not as avoidance, but as protection. Protection of a moment that was never meant to be consumed, dissected, or explained. Protection of something fragile, something real. Online discussions slowly shifted tone. Instead of "are they together?" the questions became softer. Are they happy? Are they resting? Do they finally have space to breathe? Stories began circulating, not as claims, but as impressions. Late night walks along the harbor. The soft glow of streetlights reflecting on water. A small cafe, quiet and warm, far from flashing cameras and gossip columns. Nothing dramatic, nothing headline-worthy. And yet, that simplicity felt profound. Because sometimes, intimacy is not about grand gestures. Sometimes it's about choosing quiet when the world expects noise. As the story traveled beyond Chinese social media, something unexpected happened. It transformed. International fans didn't just react. They reflected. On X, TikTok, and fan forums across the globe, conversations took on a deeper tone. Many fans spoke not as spectators, but as people who understood the emotional weight of New Year's Eve. Because New Year's is not just a date. It's a threshold. It's when people look back at everything they survived, everything they lost, everything they carried silently, and then decide how they want to step forward. That's why the idea of Dylan Wang and Bai Lu spending that moment in the same city, under the same sky, felt so symbolic. Not romanticized, not exaggerated, just meaningful. Some fans shared how this story made them feel seen, how it reminded them that even those who seem untouchable still crave stillness, still crave moments that aren't staged or monetized. Others pointed out something quietly powerful. There was no attempt to turn this into a narrative. No matching outfits, no carefully curated couple image, just fragments that happened to align. And perhaps that's why it resonated so deeply. In an industry built on performance, restraint becomes emotional honesty. Hong Kong, with its endless lights and restless energy, became the perfect contrast. A city alive with celebration, yet capable of holding private moments without asking questions. For many fans, that night stopped being about speculation. It became a reminder that connection doesn't always need definition. That closeness doesn't always need confirmation. Sometimes the choice to share a moment is already the answer. Now, as the calendar pages continue to turn, the world naturally looks ahead. Will Dylan Wang and Bai Lu work together again? Will they speak about that New Year's night someday? Or will it remain exactly as it is? Untouched, unexplained? No one knows. But perhaps that uncertainty is part of the story's beauty. Because not every meaningful chapter needs to be labeled. Not every memory needs to become public property. Some moments exist simply to be lived, not understood. For fans, this wasn't about claiming ownership over someone else's life. It was about witnessing a rare softness in an industry that rarely allows it. A new year welcomed without spectacle. A moment shared without performance. A silence that felt intentional, not empty. And in that silence, many fans found comfort. Comfort in knowing that happiness doesn't always announce itself. That beginnings don't always come with declarations. Sometimes they arrive quietly, like fireworks fading into the night sky. Brilliant, brief, and deeply personal. Whether this was the start of something new or simply a pause before the next chapter, it left an imprint. A gentle one, a human one. And maybe that's why this story continues to linger in people's hearts. Because long after the fireworks ended, long after the hashtag slowed down, one feeling remained. Warmth. So as you think back on that night, ask yourself, not what it meant for them, but what it stirred in you. Because the most powerful stories are not the ones that give answers. They're the ones that make us feel something we didn't expect.